All right, welcome to the Degenerate Gamblers. How you guys doing? I'm here with the original OG, Evan Hand, man, the guy that started it all. And look, we're concentrating on one thing today. We're going NFL. We've had a little bit of success the last few weeks with college football. I think 2 weeks ago we nailed that plus 2,100 Northern Illinois upset over Notre Dame. And this past week we did nothing but pulled off a 31,000 plus $31,000 parlay.
That was
If you're
fucking
not sure
crazy.
yeah. So yeah, we're here. So I got to tell you real quick about the parlay, real quick. So I'm having a good day. We're hitting everything. Alabama, Notre Dame, everything that we talked about in the podcast last week is hitting. So 10 o'clock comes around, man, and I get a DM on the Discord. And to join the Discord, go to whop.com. Join the Degenerate Gamblers. Just
I'll
join,
make it
man.
easy. I'll make it easy for everybody. The link is just in the description below this episode right here. That's all you have to do. Link's in the description. Click it.
Simple. And we got a crew there. We got a crew of good people all around the country, getting information on games, having inputs. It's a team, man. It's a team effort. But so I get this DM at 10 o'clock, and it's like, I said before, it's like you're a pitcher. You're pitching a no-hitter with 3 outs to go. And all of a sudden, one of the coaches comes out to talk to you. So one of the guys in the Discord said, "Hey, Howie, we're very close to hitting this 10-game parlay because nobody scored in the Georgia-Kentucky game. We got the under 44.5, and I think it's 7-6 going into the third quarter or something. That's in. But Central Florida was getting beat, 21-7 beat. And I remember, Evan was at a wedding, and he put out, should I cash in this 10-game parlay or let it ride? And you couldn't hedge because they're just, we were plus 2.5. We're down 2 touchdowns. But Central Florida came back, nailed it. We had numerous people betting $10, getting 26 to 2,600 to 3,000 back. We had a guy bet $100. He got back over 30,000.
Yeah. That was quite the sweat too. It was fun, but
Yeah.
it would be a lot more fun if I wasn't at a wedding at the time. But
So, anyways, that was college. So look, we go into the NFL last weekend, and I basically Sunday night was talking to a bunch of my capper friends from around the country, and everybody got slaughtered Sunday. Everybody. Vegas made a killing. It was a beatdown. I mean,
not a good week for the favorites.
I mean, yeah. If you bet all the dogs on Sunday, which you should often bet dogs, you would have done really well. But look, a little bit of advice for anybody who's new, or even if you're not new, you know this. When it comes to the NFL, the only way to stay even or beat the NFL is you have to be extremely selective. You have to be selective. You can't look at 8 games and say, oh man, I like 6 of them. You're screwed. You're done already. You have no chance. I'll give you the average Joe Better this weekend. The average Joe Better, Joe Public, he came out at 1 o'clock. He said, oh, Jacksonville over Cleveland, that's a lock. They're going to be in the playoffs this year. Trevor Lawrence is a beast. I'm taking Jacksonville. Lions at home against Tampa Bay. Are you kidding me? That line? I got to go with the Lions. 49ers playing? There's no way in hell the Niners are going to lose. They just thumped the Jets. So right off the bat, you're 0 for 3. So let's say, you said, hey, the Colts are home against the Packers. They don't have a quarterback. That's got to be a lock. You take the Colts. You're 0 for 4. So now you're in trouble. And you say, well, at least I got one game that saved me because earlier I was smart enough to bet the Ravens over the Raiders. Who would not take the Ravens over the Raiders? Lamar Jackson, the Raiders. We just talked about how bad they were last week when we had Sam Tripoli on. So what do the Raiders do? They go into Baltimore and upset them. So right off the bat, you got slaughtered at 1 o'clock. The worst thing you can do is just say, man, I'm down. I'm in trouble. But at least I know one thing for sure. There's no way in hell the Cowboys are going to lose to the Saints. There's no way. So I'm doubling down. I'm loading it all on the Cowboys. You know what? At least your pain would have been quick and it would have been over with because that game was over in 5 minutes.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about a team that has problems. I'm looking at the line this week. So look, be selective. Don't double down. Look, we were going into Monday night, we were down 3 units, which to me is a win-win. We were down 3 units. We bet 2 units on the Falcons, plus 5.5, 6. We hit that, so we're down a unit. But the big one was we bet 5 units on Saquon Barkley and Bijan Robinson.
Deshaun.
Jesus. Getting over 60 and 50 yards rushing. And they did. So we ended up plus 3. Look, I'll take plus 3 units betting 3 things than losing 20 units betting 7 games.
100%.
You know, that's the way you got to do it. So just think about that. When the next time you look over a Sunday card, you know what? Narrow it down. Okay, I like these 7 games. Out of those 7, narrow it down to 3. Out of those 3, narrow it down to 1, man. 1 or 2. 1 or 2 games, 1 or 2 props that you just really be a little conservative. Look, in this game, if you can just eke out little wins every week, you'll have a good year and it'll be fun.
Brick by brick, baby.
Yeah, brick by brick. It's look, I remember in my 20s and 30s, holy shit. I can remember going 1 for 8. Why am I betting this many games? And, next day you and your buddies are like trying to pick up side jobs on Tuesday to pay off the bookie on Wednesday. Those were the days, Evan.
Yeah, I've never been in such a situation, but...
Well, you got one thing we didn't have. One thing, and that's called live betting. You couldn't hedge back in our day, Evan. You put your bets in at 11 a.m., you went to the bar, and you just prayed because you couldn't hedge. If you were up 2 touchdowns at the half, you couldn't hedge the other way. I mean, that's a huge game changer, guys. Being able to hedge. Saturday in the Missouri-Boston College game, I had Boston College. They went up 21-7. I took Missouri plus 1.5. I put it all out in the Discord. I said, guys, I'm trying to middle this. When we say middle it, look, I got Boston College plus 14.5. I already bet them. That was my pick of the week. I had them loaded. Well over 5 units. Missouri got down, was a favorite, but all of a sudden they're down 14 points. Hey, all of a sudden I look live betting, they're plus 1.5. So from plus 1.5 to 14, man, that's a 15.5 point swing. If I catch that middle, I get both sides, and that's what happened. We did it. And man, the NFL, get yourself a nice underdog. Get yourself a nice dog. And that dog goes up 7-0, 10-3. You catch the middle. That's a game changer in this. It really is. Changes the whole landscape.
100%. So with that said, why don't we get into this week's NFL slate? Thursday night, tomorrow night, we have the New England Patriots at the New York Jets. Spread is 6.5 with an over-under of 38.5. What are you thinking, Howie?
Well, I'm trying to be unbiased because as you and I know, we are both diehard Jet.
Yep.
When you're a diehard Jet fan, you wake up in the morning with a little something called no hope.
It's the goddamn Jets.
But you know what? As bad as our offense played in that first half last week, they found a way to win. Aaron Rodgers, he looks good. He looks decent.
He hasn't thrown for over 200 yet, though. We're 2 games in, hasn't thrown for over 200 yet. That's a part that scares me a little. And we just lost Jermaine Johnson for the year. Our defensive line looks like shit. C.J. Mosley's questionable.
He stubbed his toe.
Yeah, turf toe probably. But, dude, the Patriots have owned us for the last, 10 years at least?
Well, the last 10 games we've played them, that's 5 years. We've won 1 game.
Yeah. I mean, they are under Gerard Mayo now. Obviously, we have Aaron Rodgers. But, man, just the history here. I
beat him last year. He beat him last year. January.
I find it hard to take that spread. I find it hard to take those points.
Look, man, that spread's insane. That spread should be 1.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Jets.
It's the goddamn Jets.
Tell you what I do like in this game. I can't bet the Jets. I'm a Jet fan. I just can't. 6.5 is crazy. We could be down 14-0 if you've watched the Jets as long as I have. But here's what I do like. The over-under on this is 38.5. I do like this one. I'm going to throw one out at you. The Jets, total team points is 22.5. Evan, I think that we're going to score some touchdowns tomorrow. I think we are.
That's the only possible outcome of this. If our team total is 20, 21.5, 22.5, whatever you just said, and the over-under is 38.5, but the spread is almost 7, I mean, that's
bad.
It's telling you right there. I think that's where the books want you to go. And I think maybe this could be the game that Aaron Rodgers turns it on.
That's what I'm thinking. Now, we could turn it on. We could still lose.
Oh, for sure.
You could have 450 yards and 5 touchdowns, and we lose 52-49. I mean, who the hell? I mean, O.J. Brissett, he's better than
Jacoby?
I mean, this guy, he doesn't make mistakes, He's just a solid quarterback.
Hard-nosed football guy. Yep.
He is. He's total football. As a quarterback, you want your team wins.
So I do. Here's what I like tomorrow. I like the Jets total points 22.5. The 38.5 I just think is too low. The Jets, if you look at their first 2 games, they're due to have a 28-point plus game. May not win, but I think we blow it out.
If we score 28 points and don't win, that's a problem.
So you just heard what's going to happen. We'll score 28 points and we will.
All right, man. So that's what we got. I like the Jets 22.5, and I'll have more plays we'll put out on the Discord when you join Whop.com.
All right. First game on Sunday, we have the Giants at the Browns. Spread is also 6.5, and the over-under is also 38.5. What are we thinking here?
I'm thinking there's just no way on this planet I could ever bet the Giants.
I don't. I know for a fact that the Giants are going to have that one game where they look like they're an actual football team. I don't know if this could be the one. The Giants look like shit. Malik Neighbors looked amazing. That's their silver lining there.
Yeah.
But the Browns got it together. Jags are good on paper, horrible on the field. I mean, I would take the Browns in this one.
Yeah, if I had, I couldn't bet the Giants. I mean, shit. Yeah. I thought the one chance, the over-under at the beginning of the season on the Giants was 6.5.
And I went to a buddy of mine who's a huge Giants fan. He said, before you put it in, I'll take your action. We're going to win 9 games this year. And I said, tell me what you want to bet.
Triplet.
Please.
6.5. So the one game they did have a chance to win was against the Commanders in Washington.
Yeah.
I'm old. I've been Washington for a while. So they had a chance to beat Washington.
And that didn't happen. They may not win another game for 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think their next game, I was looking at the Panthers schedule yesterday. They play each other. Panthers just benched Bryce Young. We'll obviously get to that, but I think that could maybe be a competitive game, but man, the Giants look like shit right now. They look terrible.
Yeah, I mean, what do? You're paying Brown all that money. Personally, I think Tommy DeVito's probably a better quarterback. And all my Johnny fans who disagreed with me last year, they're like, maybe you were right. This guy's your second win with him. You're not going to win with this guy. You're just hard. What is his 5th year?
He's bad. He's really bad.
He's really bad. The Giants won 4 or 5 days with DeVito last year.
I'm a little biased, man, because I got to do a Pizza Hut commercial with him last January. We hung out in a trailer and played cards for a while, so the dude's a cool dude.
What a guy.
All right, let's head to the next one.
Next game, we have the Bears at Colts. Spread is 1.5. Over-under is 43.5. I think, my perspective, I think I'm taking the Bears here.
It's one of my, let's say, favorite games that I will be playing. I like this team, and the Bears. What's the stat I have?
The Bears cover. They cover. Like 6-3, 7-3 over the last 10 games. I like the Bears in this spot. I think the Colts prove that their offense has a lot of problems. The Bears have a decent defense. And this kid, Caleb Williams, he's the real deal.
He hasn't looked the best, Caleb. I have him on my fantasy team, of course. He threw for 93 yards the first game. He got over 100, triple-digit club last game. But the most that worries me about the Colts is that they have the worst rush defense in the NFL. I think they've let up over 150 yards in their first 2 games. DeAndre Swift hasn't really proven that with the Bears yet, but I mean that's a big red flag right there.
He's a Georgia guy, and the guy probably had 2 or 3 touchdowns. You just mentioned the stat, and one thing I looked at,
and I was going over this last night. The one thing I like in this game, probably even more than the Bears, I like the over, 43.5. I do like the over. I think these teams put up some points Sunday.
Love it. So if you had to pick a side, you picking the Bears?
Yeah, absolutely. +1.
All right. Next game, hard game here, in my opinion. We have the Texans going to Minnesota. Spread is Texans -2.5. Over-under is 45.5. What are you thinking?
That's wild, man. Yeah, Vikings 2.5. You got the Texans going in. The Texans haven't had it easy. They squeaked one out the other night. But the Vikings, look, let's not talk about Sam Darnold because I'll get sick. Being an ex-Jets quarterback, the guy looks like he's the best
Yep.
in the NFL right now.
Yep.
But look at the Vikings defense. Their defensive line, those guys up front, they're going to give the Texans problems.
Not to mention Joe Mixon is questionable going into this game with an ankle injury after a hip drop tackle.
I mean, you watch that guy run the ball. That's frightening. I've still seen a guy, at least in the last 10, 20 years, that could just laterally move that quick. Just make guys miss at the last second. He's unbelievable.
He's a great back.
He is. Great back. He's got a good right hand.
If you remember back in college, man, he's got a wicked right hand. That blonde chick had no chance against him.
Oh.
He faked a little hair, bam, just delivered to the ground. I don't know how he got out of that one, but hey, Oklahoma football, let's go. But no, I like the Vikings here, Evan. I like the Vikings.
I hate to say it, but I think I'm going to take him too. I don't want to believe in the Sam Darnold type, but he was dealing last week. And beating the 49ers, especially with their defense and Fred Warner, who could be in the Hall of Fame right now, I think you have to take the points here. I don't know. There's no other option.
I agree. I think this team, forget about Sam Darnold.
Justin Jefferson, they got other guys. They got a bunch of guys on this team that can play on both sides.
Meanwhile, this is without T.J. Hockenson or Jordan Addison, and Justin Jefferson got hurt late in that game last week. So I don't know how the fuck Sam Darnold pulled this off, but he did, and that takes some talent.
They could do it anywhere.
But, like New York, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, often players leave New York, and there's a load of pressure just off their backs, and they go other places and just succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Look at, who was it? Burnett from played for the Yankees. He could not throw a strike. And then I think he went to Pittsburgh and won a Cy Young, but it's just the way it is. So, yeah, I like the Vikings.
All right, on to the next game. My opinion, the trap of the week. We have the Eagles going to New Orleans. Spread is Eagles +2.5. Over-under is 49.5. I'm not buying into this Saints hype. They did just beat the Cowboys. They beat the Panthers in week 1. I refuse to believe Derek Carr is as good as he has been.
This is a game I'm staying away from. I spent 30 minutes going over, making calls, talking to people about this game. The Eagles are 1-8-1 over their last 10 games against the spread. Eagles don't cover. They just don't cover. Saints are 6-4 against the spread. But like you just said, this looks like a bad trap. I mean, the Eagles, I think, probably have a better overall team.
Absolutely. It's ridiculous to me that the line is like this. Yes, they're not going to have A.J. Brown, most likely, this week. But it's still Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, the Eagles' offensive line. Devontae Smith, their whole defense. I'm not buying into the Saints hype. Somebody's gonna pull up a scheme. Vic Fangio, I think, is their defensive coordinator. Somebody's gonna cook up a scheme where Derek Carr looks like absolute dog shit once again, where he belongs, right?
Aiden, you're gonna tell me the Eagles coming off a cold loss against
Exactly. I mean, there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game, they think. But after that game on Monday night and their defense looking like that, they definitely got reamed out yesterday during film. So, some adjustments are going to be made. They know that New Orleans likes the deep ball. This just screams trap to me.
I can't disagree with you. Because here's the deal. If the Saints do win this game, they are the real deal. If they win,
yes, for sure.
Win this game, they're better than we all thought. Yep. And that's just what it is. But I agree with you. I think the Eagles probably come back and win this.
Next game, we have the Broncos at Bucks. Bucks looked great last weekend. Bucks favored by 6.5. Over-under is 39.5.
So is Bo Nix, is he the answer for the Broncos?
My problem with this game, Evan, is that
Tampa Bay just went into Detroit and won a huge game that they were underdogs in. This line's big. 6.5 in the NFL that's a large line.
It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points. I can't joke about a Joe Pop favorite here, Tampa Bay. The Broncos probably backdoor this thing and lose by.
Yeah, I don't think I would take either side here. This is my stay away game, honestly. I don't love the Broncos offense at all. 40 is, I don't know how this is a higher total than the Jets in the Patriots game. This is my stay away game, honestly. But if I had to pick one, I'm just going to pick Bucks to win, even though that's a 320. So that's a parlay piece, if anything.
Yeah, I think they will. And
this weekend, when I do put plays out, this weekend, especially in NFL, I'll have more money line and teasers than I have had in the past, just because of the way the slate is looking.
Yep. On to the next game, we have the Packers at Titans. Packers plus 2.5. Over under is 36.5. Will Levis has lost his team the game 2 weeks in a row. Will it happen again?
I never would have a favorite memory of every single week in the NFL, and my favorite number one memory,
maybe of the year, is when Will Levis was coming off the field and his coach looked at him and said, "What the fuck are you
He literally, he said, "Will, what the fuck are you doing?
What are you doing?"
I mean, that may have been one of the dumbest plays I've ever seen a quarterback make.
Yeah. Basically, you're going down, basically just throw the ball up in the air and say, "I hope somebody catches it."
Yeah. I'm thankful he did that because he played the Jets. But at the same time,
That's right, man.
what the fuck? What the fuck is he doing?
What was he doing?
Trying to be superhero.
No. Hey, you got you coming in. Look, the Packers are underdogs here. Malik Willis doesn't look bad. And look, the last 6 games, the Packers are 5-1 against the spread. 5-1. I don't have any faith in the Titans, man. You can't bet the Titans. It's like betting the Giants.
This one's tough for me as well, but I think at the same time, Will is getting an earful. Has gotten an earful all week. Will be for the rest of the week. Just be conservative. Don't be a fucking idiot, basically. And I mean, Malik Willis seems to be serviceable. Aaron Jones is, Josh Jacobs, playing really well. This game is
the guy that left New York.
Josh. Oh yeah.
That's the Giants. Now he looks like a beast. I like to pay Packers a little bit there. It's not one of my best games, but I like him. Good kind.
Yeah, I have no play here. Another game here: Chargers at Steelers. Chargers plus 1.5. Over under is 35.5. Really low total. I also think this one's another trap. Honestly.
The line started the over-under at 36.5. If I had to bet a side, I would take Pittsburgh at home. I'm not going to, but I tell you what I am going to do. I am going to take that under.
I think that's a pretty good play. I like the Chargers here. I think that their offense has not looked very good, or the Steelers' offense has not looked very good. Justin Fields, I had faith in him. I drafted him, or I didn't draft him. I picked him up in my fantasy league. I thought he would maybe ball out, but something's going on there. They're just not putting up points. They didn't score a single fucking touchdown in the first week of the season. Harbaugh, it's just hard to go against Harbaugh with a team slightly better than them, in my opinion.
Yeah, hey, they had good players. He's a beast. They're solid. But Pittsburgh's got good defense. They're playing at home.
Yeah, that is something I forgot about. I mean, J.K. Dobbins is leading the league right now in rush yards. Who would have thought?
Yeah, T.J. Watt's not bad.
MVP, maybe?
They got a squad. Yeah. That's why I like the under. I don't think there's going to be a lot of score. I think the final score of this game is probably 14-13.
Next game, we have the Panthers at Raiders. Spread is Panthers plus 5.5. Over-under is 40.5. I think the Raiders cover.
One would think after they look good against a Baltimore Ravens team that a lot of people, felt would compete with the Super Bowl champs for the AFC division this year. And I mean, the Raiders went in and pulled that off. That was insane. Do they have a letdown this week? Because look, the only thing that worries me about this is the whole any given Sunday shit. The Raiders just beat the Ravens, and now they play the worst team in the NFL. Who knows?
It just feels like they're trying to trick you into thinking that Andy Dalton is going to get them more points, which may be possible. It may be possible. I don't think the Panthers are an Andy Dalton away from fixing all their problems.
And I wouldn't either, man.
That's the only reason I'm on the Raiders.
And it's a logical bet. It's a logical bet. It should happen. Read Andy Dalton.
Unless he has one of those Vinny Testaverde, 38 years old, comes in and just has the best game of his career and then, snaps his collarbone next week. Which is probably a good chance of that happening. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting game, but logically, yeah, the Raiders should be happy having to play Carolina after last week.
Yeah. So I'm taking the Raiders here. You're on the Raiders too?
If I had to take a team, I'd take the Raiders money line.
Yeah. Good play. They're only minus 260, which is scary. That scares me, though. Next game, 4:05 slate. We have the Dolphins at Seattle. Spread is Dolphins plus 4.5. Over-under is 41.5. Tua not playing, obviously. Kenneth Walker, I think he's questionable. I don't know what to think about this game.
I don't care if Tua was there or he's not there. I don't like a side. You got a wounded dog in a corner right now with probably the best receiver in the league. You can throw 5-10 yard outs to Tyreek, and he's, who knows, if he gets loose, you're not touching him. But you watch Seattle plays smart, man. I think Seattle's gonna run clock, and try to eke out a small 21-13. I like the under here. I like the
under in this game. A really good.
I have no play. If anything, I'm taking the Seahawks as a part of the parlay. I think Tua is a big factor. I think the Seahawks or the Dolphins just signed Tyler Huntley, which is Lamar Jackson 2.0. So I would take the Seahawks if anything here. Next game, we have the Lions going into Arizona. Lions are minus 3. Over under is 52.5. A lot of points.
Yeah, I like the over.
I do too. I think the Cardinals have a high-flying offense here. And if Goff can get his shit together and start throwing to Laporta, I don't know if Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to be in or not. He got injured last week. But the Cardinals can never finish. They can't finish games.
I see a high-scoring game here. I mean, Arizona, they have problems defensively. They get good offense. The Lions gave up points. I mean, I can see this high-scoring game.
All right, so we like the over in that one. Next game, Ravens at Cowboys. Ravens minus 1.5. Over-under is 48.5.
I like this game. This is a game I really like. I think that Baltimore is going to just stack the backfield, play these receivers. If you force Dallas to run the ball, what do you need? 2 guys up front to stop that run?
Yeah.
I mean, Dallas has no run game. Nothing. And you're going to put this whole thing on Prescott, which, I mean, I don't see how Baltimore doesn't win this game.
I think it's a must-win. They're in a must-win spot just because they're 0-2 to start the season.
Yep. I love Baltimore here. I love it. It's actually one of my favorite picks of the week.
All right, you and I are both on Baltimore. Next game, Niners at Rams. Spread is 7.5. Over-under is 43.5. I don't think there's any way in hell that the Niners lose this game because the entire Rams offense is hurt.
They are, man. Cooper Kupp, all those guys, man. They have problems. But with that being said, listen, don't lose by a hook. By the hook. By the half point.
Yes.
I don't care if you're going with the Rams. Just by the hook. Give yourself -7, +7 to give yourself a chance to push. Don't lose by a half point.
Yeah. I mean, the Niners looked like shit last week, obviously, but the Rams, they have no offensive line. Puka Nakua's hurt. Cooper Kupp's hurt. Who the hell is Matt Stafford going to throw it to? Especially with the Niners defense. I'm taking the Niners.
You know what? I'll take the Niners, and I might push it down to 6.5.
Good play. It's a good play right there. Next game, we have the Chiefs at the Falcons. The spread here is -3.5 for the Chiefs. Over-under is 46.5.
This could be my pick of the week.
I love the Chiefs here. I love the Chiefs just because, look, the Falcons winning the Philly is beatable. A letdown day. Well, if they're going to be up for this game, they'll get me wrong. But I just think Kansas City puts it. Puts on luck.
Yeah, it is Kirk Cousins after all. He looked like shit week 1. Chiefs are the Chiefs. Getting a lot of calls their way. But I mean, it's hard to bet against the Chiefs, honestly. So I'm with you there.
What do you think, Evan, as far as do you think the Chiefs have that Michael Jordan situation where they're going to get, it's just.
I think it's a mental thing. Once you're on top in any sport, once you're the king, you got to really get knocked off because they seem to get a shitload of crazy calls.
They do. I mean, I saw a stat yesterday that Mahomes has had 17 overturned interceptions that he threw, which leads the league by far. I don't think that's just a coincidence.
No. And you've seen this over the decades watching any sport. Certain pitchers, certain basketball players tend to get calls that other players don't just because.
LeBron
James, are you kidding me? Oh, my God. Yeah. I mean, when you're at the top, it's tough to get knocked off. I mean, in Kansas City's, they're the king right now. Got to knock them off. But I do think they go in and spank these shit out of the Falcons.
They're going to get humbled.
That could be my play of the week right there.
Now we have 2 games on Monday. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars going into Buffalo. Buffalo -4.5. Over-under is 45.5.
Normally, I would be like, man, the spread scares me. Trevor Lawrence is due for a big game. They're solid. The only problem I have is Monday night in Buffalo. There is nothing else in that town. Every degenerate in the world is going to be there. They've been drinking since 9 a.m. If they have kids, they probably sold one. They forgot about them. But look, they're headed to the stadium and they want to see a beatdown. I got to go with Buffalo.
I'm on the other side. I think personally I'm taking the Jags +4.5. There's no way they are this bad. And these two always play a competitive game. I think the Bills will win, but I also think the Jags will cover.
Could be a 1-point game. That's respect right there. I can see it. My boy Trevor laying boards. Last year's Ritz Cracker commercial.
All right, and last game on the slate, going to be a doozy here. Other game at Monday. We have the Commanders going into Cincinnati. Commanders are plus 7.5. Over-under is 48.5.
Final score of that game, Cincinnati 35, Washington 10.
Yeah. This one's hard for me because I really like Jaden Daniels and what he's doing. Brian Robinson looks great. They have some weapons on offense, but they are also the Commanders, and Joe Burrow is Joe Burrow.
And they're due for. Cincinnati's due for.
They got to prove something. Then this is their chance.
Absolutely. So yeah, that is it. We gave you a bunch of games, and we bet all these games. No, maybe 3, maybe 4. I don't know, but some more than others. Look, when you're playing with the NFL, it comes down to 2 things: discipline and money management. You don't want to be betting large units on games that are iffy. Discipline, money management, need a little luck. But, we started off last week pretty good. I think this week's going to be solid. We have some bangers for college starting tomorrow night. So, hey, join, baby. Let's go. Get on the Whop. Get on the Degenerate Gamblers Discord, man. Let's do it.
So hit the link in the description. If you want to join, it's $25 a month, $24.99 a month. You're not going to find any other cheaper capper service out there. And we'll be back. Howie will be back every Monday with college football. And then Tuesdays or Wednesdays, we'll be doing NFL. So make sure you subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, all that shit. And final words, Howie?
Oh, yeah. Final words. If you sign up this weekend, last weekend, we hit this wild man. What do we keep calling it, man? Wild man parlay, 10-day parlay, came back, plus 31,000. I put another one out this weekend. Anybody who is on that Discord is a paid member. By Sunday, if this baby hits, you get $100.
That's what it is. You get $100.
Covers 4 months of your subscription.
Yeah, just hit the link, sign up, and you'll see the parlay because I'll have that thing out by Saturday. It'll be out Saturday. Probably 4 college games, 5 college games, maybe 3 or 4 NFL. Probably at night or this weekend.
Okay. All right. Well, we will we'll see everybody in there and see you next week. Let's bank.
Peace. Let's bank.